What's up, everyone? If this is your first time joining our show, welcome to Third Shot Podcast. And if you're a repeat listener, thank you so much for your continued support. We love it and welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube if that's your platform of choice. And while you're there, don't forget to rate and give us a comment. Thanks so much.
Five
Hey,
stars,
guys.
everyone.
Yeah.
5 stars. How's it going, everyone?
Good.
It's going good. It is good. Ready for the
Ready to kick it off.
Ready?
shot.
All right. Well, cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I know, I go away after the first segment. Just so you know, I take the shots too. Just
Oh, good.
to be a part of the show. That's the only reason, just to be a part of the show.
In solidarity.
Well, tell everybody what you're doing behind the scenes. Why do you go away?
I'm pushing buttons. I'm like, switching the cameras, doing that type of thing where I'm pushing the buttons, and that way I can stay focused on which button to press.
So,
All
for
the
all the people
fancy
that are
stuff.
not watching video right now, Russ just made us all very dizzy by rotating
Exactly.
our,
I pushed a bunch of buttons.
faces around
That's what I
very
did.
quickly, and I'm like, oh, where do I look?
And we're trying, like, I feel like the last show, very creative. Like, we did a little more stuff. We had some video in there. We had some, like, random stuff shown. So hopefully, we'll get to that as we get more comfortable with streaming on StreamYard and recording and doing all this fun stuff. So yeah.
I think the last show was the first time we actually had like somebody sing on the show.
Right. Haven't had that yet.
True.
Right. So that was
Another
fun.
first.
Yes. The first keep happening here.
And I think it was also maybe the first Marsha Brady reference we've ever had.
Perhaps. First is probably many.
I wonder if
First
Marsha
and
Brady
last.
plays pickleball. I'm guessing she does.
Probably does. Yeah.
I'm thinking she's a pickleball player.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe they'll do a very Brady pickleball special.
They should.
Who do you think would win? Who do you think would be rated the highest out
Who would
of
be
the
rated
Brady
the
bunch?
highest of the Bradys?
Alice.
You know what?
She'd probably have the hidden advantage. Yeah.
I think so, right? She was always moving around the house,
That's true.
getting the kids ready, helping out with everything. Like, I just
Wasn't
feel like
she
she
always
could
wearing
cover.
like tennis shoes too?
She was. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks
she's ready
athletic.
for it.
It's very
For
active.
sure. For sure. She'll go
Okay,
to
so
the
Alice
the
would be
meat
what? A
choppers
4-0,
ball.
4-5? What do you think?
That I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what is involved. Like is the ratings systems, are they just based on like certain aspects of it or your whole game? Is it like where, like for instance, I did some rating the other day for, I don't know, some online thing because everybody sends you a survey now. So I did this online survey and they were asking me about each individual aspect of the thing, right? So it was, I'll just say it. It's the Giants, membership thing, season pass thing. Okay, so the area that you're in, is it, are you, how would you rate that on a scale from 1 to 10 or whatever? And then the next one was, the viewing of the game, like from your location, and then the sound, and then this,
right.
and then like all of these different questions that they're asking. So with the pickleball ratings, are you being rated on different things, or is that even out there? Like ratings on your serve? Like,
Yeah, that's a really good question.
what's happening?
And when we first started playing, I had no idea too that there was even a rating system out there. So when people were asking, like, "Oh, well, what level are you?" When I was first starting, I'm like, "Well, I'm just a beginner." I didn't realize
Right.
that they were asking me like specifically a level. So, turn to Google, and there is a very like lengthy document that explains how to self rate based off of different aspects of your game, like how frequently are you keeping the ball in on your serve, things like that. I can't remember exactly, but then we've talked about Duper before, so Uncle's a little bit more familiar with Duper. If you want to share some.
Yeah, so my understanding how Duper rates is just based on scores. So you're just posting the scores of matches, and based on the competition level that you're playing against, it just, audit goes into an algorithm and figures out what everybody should be rated based on past experiences and current games. So, for example, if you're playing against two people that are 4-0s and you win, theoretically Duper is going to give you a higher than 4.0 rating. But you have to do it over time, right? And more scores get entered.
Mm-hmm.
People that play against their rating could go down or it could go up. So your rating could change even if you don't even play. But it's all based on just the scores of matches. And then it also keeps track of like how many points, what percentage of your points you've won versus lost on your team. It breaks it out to a doubles and a singles rating.
So if you get like if you're whatever, you're a 4 and you play a 3 and they just destroy you. You don't score at all. It's
Right.
is that going to make a difference in that?
Your
Does
rating
the
should
score
go
matter?
down and their rating should go up.
Right. Okay.
That
So
that
the score, but does the score differential matter?
yes.
Oh wow.
So the
Okay.
more you beat somebody by, you know, will affect, the rating.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how the algorithms work, but I'm guessing it kind of moves it by percentages. Yeah. So
Okay.
you get points for beating them, and then you get points for what the score differential is as well. So all
Okay.
of it gets factored into the rating. But I like what you said about, is your serve getting rated? Is your dinks getting rated? Your drops getting rated? All of those types of things. I don't think anything's like that out there. I think
Okay.
it's a
Because what
great
if you
idea.
have like a higher score as a server
Mhm.
or a higher serve
Right.
as a dinker? Like, how does that also affect your overall
Right.
level?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get people that, Brigie, when people used to ask us, like, what level are you? Right. It's all kind of a self-rating on our part because at the
Yes.
time we weren't
Yeah.
duper or anything. So even after we figured out there was a score or a number to your rating, we didn't know what we were. We were like, oh, no, 3.
Right. Well, I've got some drama that I've heard recently about a self-rating situation.
Oh really?
One of my friends, he's in a tournament or a league here in Las Vegas, and somebody in their league, I guess, self-proclaimed that they are a 4.5 and they're playing in this league that's a 3.5. And so my friend and
Hmm.
his partner were doing a great job. They were winning all of their games until they played this one partnership. And this one person was like, oh, well, I'm a 4.5. Or maybe he said he was a 4.5 tennis player.
Oh.
Mm.
And he said, oh, I don't
Well,
have like a specific pickleball rating. And so, they asked the director of this league if there's anything against that. And the director said, well, technically, this person doesn't have a duper rating. So whatever they're saying they are, we have to kind of honor that.
interesting.
So
Interesting.
yeah, there's not a really good solid system of rating people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like it. I mean, it would be nice to know too, right? Just for yourself. Like, and I'm thinking, again, I just went to a Giants game again, so I gotta compare a little bit. But then it's like you start to figure out like which position you're best in or which thing that you do best. So that if
Right.
you're like a really, great at one thing and then maybe you're looking at, whatever to find your partner so that you can be paired up
That's
against somebody that
true.
has strengths that are not yours. I just
Well,
invented a whole new. I invented Super Duper, is what I just invented.
that sounds like a burger chain up here in the Bay Area, Russ.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does.
Fantastic grilled onions, yeah, and garlic fries. But I
Right.
don't know how. Yeah, I liked your idea, Russ. You were on fire today. I
I
love
know.
everything that
Jeez.
you're coming. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they rate me on
I would rate
ideas.
you 5 stars,
Is
no
5.
doubt. Bridgie, what would
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
what would you rate as the highest part of your own game?
Of my own game,
Yeah,
I think consistency with serves.
Mm.
yeah.
I'm
You
pretty
keep your
consistent.
serves in.
They're very returnable, which is okay, but at least it gives us a chance to play after. I don't typically hit it out too often.
Now you have a very good serve. It's not easy to return. I've played against you as well as with you. You keep them in, and you keep them very low.
Mm,
Like your serve doesn't hop up, and you
thank
let somebody
you.
wail on it. You keep it nice and low.
What would you rate as your highest?
I think I'm a good. I block well. Like when somebody
Mm,
drives it at me, I think my reflexes are good enough still that I can block them back and kind of angle the blocks. I think that's
you
probably
do have really quick reflexes, especially when it's not just coming like this one is a little bit, anything in your head and like chest area. It seems a little bit easier because you already have your paddle up, but you also get the ones that are at your knees and below at your feet. And when you block it, it's still staying in. It's not just flying out of bounds.
I think that's my strength. And you know why? I think I got good at it because I was leaving the ball up so high, everybody was driving it at me. So I had to get good at blocking. But one thing that really helps my blocking is using a lighter paddle because I'm a little quicker with it.
Mm.
So, and I've been using a new paddle recently. And when we come back, we're going to have the owner of that new paddle from Volo Sports, Mike Jarrell, will be joining us. And I get to, give a little critique and review of his Volo paddles. And stay tuned. I think you're going to like hearing this. So, when we come back, Mike Jarrell, owner of Volo Sports. Welcome back to Third Shot. Please check us out on all the podcasting platforms. Look at Third Shot Podcast. Social media, we're out there on Instagram, Facebook, and now on YouTube. Go find us and you get to see us, right? That's kind of fun. You get to see kind of all the faces we're making at each other. Anyway, we have a great time. You get to take some shots with us. It's more fun on video. So check us out on YouTube. Now, as I mentioned before the break, Brigie and I are really excited to have the owner of Volo Sports with us, Mike Jarrell. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And
Of
in
course.
our third shot tradition, we've got our drinks ready to cheers to Volo.
Yes. Cheers, Volo.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to the launch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We can just jump right in now that we're ready. We're loose.
Yeah, we're
Let's do
loose.
it. Let's do it.
So, Mike, before you started your paddle company, how did you get into pickleball to begin with?
So some of my best friends moved. I'm from Philly originally. I live in Charleston, South Carolina now. And I went down to Delray Beach and they were like, hey, we need something to do. So like, hey, our friend Ryan plays pickleball. And I played tennis in high school. I was in the ping pong clubs or like racket sports, I always kind of liked. And I had never played pickle before and I kind of liked it and just got hooked. And then really just started shopping around for paddles and just like kind of thought they were kind of basic. And I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't I have an art background? My mom's an artist. So I was like, why don't I just kind of try to start my own thing and, get into Amazon private label and then started playing some more pickleball and kind of got good at it. I'm younger than a lot of people that I play pickleball with. So it was fun. And I got hooked. I got hooked for sure.
So how long you been playing now?
Less than a year. I think the first time I played was last summer. So let's call it a year.
You've been playing a year, and at what point during kind of that whole cycle you decided, okay, I got the art background. I think I can do a paddle better than some of the other stuff out there. Definitely a gorgeous looking paddle. So you nailed
Thank
the
you.
design side
Thank
of
you.
it.
Thank you.
At what point did you decide, okay, I'm gonna actually do this and start my own company?
It was definitely a risk, but I said I'm just going to put all my eggs in this basket. I knew I was going to start playing a lot of pickle. We have a fairly good community of pickleball players in Charleston, so I kind of got linked in with just some local tournaments and started playing, and then started bringing some samples out to the courts that I had just gotten shipped in before anything was, final. And same thing like you said, the paddle was just different looking than everything else that people had, and they were like, "Hey, where'd you get that paddle?" And I was like, "Oh, I actually made this myself." and So it was a lot of fun, and like I said, just took a risk and just started. I heard a quote the other day. Somebody said, "If you just don't give up, it'll probably work out." So I knew if I just kept at it, and like I said, had definitely some help from some friends and some family, and just went all in.
So it sounds like you're kind of the brains behind the project, the designer behind the project. Where did you come up with the logo and kind of that eye-catching design that it has?
Yeah, the initial thought was to bring color and to bring art and bright pastels and good colors to just the paddle market in general. And then the logo I have on the packaging, we got it on the paddle cover, we got it everywhere. Really, I just kind of, it sounds funny, but I'll be totally honest. My initial thought was to create kind of a logo that people could relate to, and I thought of the symbols on the bathroom. If you look at the guy and the girl, it's just a universal thing that everybody knows. And I was like, let me kind of start with that, and then I was like, oh, it kind of looks like Volo. So I started doing some research on some, just like Volo is flight, and it's in Italian. I'm Italian. It's an Italian word, so I kind of just went with that universal symbol, and then just kind of did a whole bunch of trial and error. Really, is what it was. I like this. I don't like that, and then just settled on. Like I said, my mom helped me out to make it kind of the the one white and one the reverse colors, if you will, and got a trademark, and it was kind of just went from there. I just kind of fell in love with it.
When I initially saw the logo, I fell in love with it, and I had the initial sense of kind of a yin yang thing going on, with the
That's
reverse.
That's
Was
so
that
funny
some of
that you
it?
say that. The very first sample, so USA Pickleball, you need the same model number. So my very first thought, I actually have a couple. I don't have them on me, but I wanted to do a yin model and a yang model. So it's very funny that you say that. And then his name is slipping my mind. One of the guys at the equipment guy for USA Pickleball was like, "Hey, you just need to do one model right now." So I was like, okay, let me just tweak it. So the original was just going to be the black and white, black up here, white down here. Then I was going to have black on the bottom and white on the top. So he kind of coached me through just keeping the same model number. But yeah, yin and yang was exactly what I was thinking. I love that.
That's cool. I mean, it totally pops to me. That's the first thing
Yeah.
I look at is when I see these paddles.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice going to the court and beating up on some people with a purple paddle.
Yeah, so explain to our listeners what color options are available to them because you have quite the palette that's available.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. So we started with, again, just the black and white, kind of the Oreo, if you will. Just that was like the OG idea that I had. And then really just started getting into, my graphic designer was like, hey, if you want to send me, you can look up the hex code. Every color has a code, if you will. So I just went on the site and just talked to my mom a bunch, and she was like, you should try some purples and some blues and some reds. So I kind of just narrowed it down to that 6. So we have a black and white. We have here the blue and white. I also have, this is the magenta. This is one of my favorites. I love this. And then, Brigie, like you said, you have the pastel purple. We have a red and white. We have, oh, nice. Yeah. Show it off. Oh yeah.
It's like a lavender. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that color. Such a beautiful color.
Mm-hmm.
So we got black and white, blue and white, red and white, magenta and white, the pastel purple, and then of course a hot pink.
The hot pink.
Hot pink. It's hot. It
so
is
do you
hot.
think, you were joking, like, what is great going to the courts and just crushing people with a purple paddle? What do you think more insulting, beating them with the hot pink or the magenta?
Oh, the magenta for sure. The
Go with the
magenta for
magenta.
sure.
They think you're going to be all soft and just
Right.
pink and stuff like that.
Right.
And all of a sudden you just rip it out of them. They go, whoa,
Yeah,
where'd
so
that come from?
the small tennis background I have, I still, the game, you guys play probably more pickleball than I do, honestly. You get the game speeds up and it slows down, and I still catch myself just trying to rip forehand winners the whole entire time. So,
well, when we talk about my review, remind me to talk about the forehand winners, because
yes,
there is that. But before
always.
we get there, I got to ask you, like, okay, it's one thing to have the design aspect and design background, have a concept of what you want it to look like, but that's different than actually creating a paddle. And testing and figuring out, what surfaces you want, what width you want. Talk us through, how did you research all of that? Because that's not something you just make up and just do.
Right. So it is a lot of trial and error. I have my whole entire apartment is just paddle designs, papers everywhere. There's paddles that no one else will ever see, but you gotta, like I said, you take a risk and you order a bunch of samples and you see what you like. So I'm a big golfer. I still play a lot of golf. And in golf, if you think about, there are more forgiving clubs and less forgiving clubs that the pros are using. So I originally ordered a 13 millimeter paddle, and being a beginner myself, I kind of geared this towards a beginner player. It's 16 millimeters, nice and thick, carbon fiber. It's a 3K carbon fiber, the honeycomb core, super soft, super forgiving, very responsive. I used to play a lot of ping pong when I was in high school, and I love being able to put a lot of spin on the ball. So I wanted a paddle, again, that had kind of the gritty surface enough to put the spin on. And the 13 millimeter, I just didn't love. The edge guard, I thought about paddles without an edge guard, but just as far as a design, I think it's just really sleek for the look of the paddle. Excuse me. So yeah, it was a lot of trial and error, and then just having, just getting out and playing more pickleball and letting people at the park use it, letting my friends use it, and everyone really liked the thickness of the 16 millimeter, and so that's what we committed to.
That's awesome. What was some of the most valuable feedback that you got during that process of letting people test out the demos?
That's a great question. Truly, like y'all started with the colors, definitely people were like, wow, I love the look. It was nice for me because I was like, are people going to want to use a purple paddle, a pink paddle? And I was like, I mean, I would use it,
Yeah.
So to get the feedback of people were like, hey, these are really bright. It's, nothing like I've ever seen. That was really good to hear. And then I'm super excited for people, y'all have used it. I'm really excited for people to actually use the paddle, because so one of the first times I ordered it playing at the park, I was like, I hope the handle doesn't fly off when I use the paddle. So even for me, it was a big confidence booster to have an appreciation for good equipment in golf, and especially in a racket sport, playing tennis. There are, good rackets and bad rackets. And so it was just nice to hear. Just, your friends will be honest with you. So it was nice to hear, like, hey, man, this feels really good. It looks really good. And yeah, it was good. It was good to hear. And y'all like them?
Well,
I
we're gonna get to
do.
that. We got to take
Okay.
a quick break. It's the
Okay.
perfect tease. Thank you for that, because when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about what our experience has been like playing your paddle. So when
Awesome.
we come
Awesome.
back, we'll have more with Mike Jarrell, the owner of Volo Pickleball.
Welcome back from break, everyone. This is Third Shot Podcast, and we have Mike Jarrell, founder, owner, designer of Volo Pickleball. And we're here to talk about paddles. Before the break, we were teasing because Uncle, myself, as well as our producer Russ, have both had the opportunity, or all of us have had the opportunity, to test out this amazing paddle.
I think we have a problem. Mike is he's doing handstands over there, or the
Sorry.
phone, or the phone fell. I'm not quite sure
Sorry.
which one happened, but
We should be good. We're good now.
all right. Well, welcome back, Mike, and let's cheers to those amazing paddles that you have,
Yes.
Cheers. Thank you.
especially the cute ones, hot pink, purple,
The hot pink.
uh,
The pink is hot.
the killer paddles. So we kind of teased it. So we've all played the paddles, and you had mentioned a couple of different features about it. The surface having a good spin, being a 16 millimeter paddle has nice feel. But I gotta tell you, it does not lack in power in any way.
Love
Um,
that. Love it.
so I have to be, I'm gonna be honest and give you critique, right? So when I first got the paddle, you know how everybody does, you go and warm up and you're dinking, 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 right? I'm dinking away. I could not control my dinks
Hmm.
because it was so hot that all my dinks were going a little too far. Like, so I really had to dial it down. Okay. And then I moved back, right? And I started getting the feel for it. And then we started doing some ground strokes and we got into the match. Man, I started driving the ball and people were going, that is coming off really hot. So
Yeah.
then, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe got to my head. I got really confident, right? So then I said, I'm gonna really start juicing my serve. So this is probably after a couple of matches. So I had a pretty good feel for the paddle at that point. And then I said, I'm just gonna start ripping these serves. And it was like dynamite. They were staying in, but deep,
Awesome.
but it had enough spin. So even when people were like getting to the ball, it's not like I was going for corners, but they were getting to the ball, but it stayed nice and low. Like the ball kind of stayed low on the hop. And they were having a heck of a time trying to control their return. So not only
I
did it
love
help
it.
my drives, but it helped my serve. And that was and then the other thing is that everybody noticed the design.
Hmm.
I have the blue one, the blue and white one, and it just pops out there on the court. Like you really get people's attention with the colors and the design of it. Plus, I was just driving a ball, and I was making people swear at me. So that was that. So that got people's attention too. So all together, it was a great experience playing your battle.
Awesome,
That's
man. I appreciate
awesome.
that.
Uncle, I was gonna ask you, did anybody afterwards kind of ask you, like, what is that paddle? Because typically you see the same kind of brands out there, like the major brands. But this one, because it's so sleek, I think that, I would assume a lot of people would be asking, what is it that you got?
Exactly what happened. Everybody was asking me about it, and they're like, "Can I hold it?" And they were, they were, they
Charge
were
them.
trying to. So you would be surprised. So many people took it out of my hands and was holding their paddle and the Volo paddle, in both hands, comparing weights, and then they switch hands. They're tapping balls, right? They're tapping them and seeing kind of sweet spots on them and stuff like that. People were so curious, and my stock answer was, "Yeah, you can hold her for a little bit, but you got to listen to the show." To actually learn more about it. All right.
Yeah,
So,
That's
that's
what was
awesome.
your
awesome.
experience
That's
like, Brigie?
that's great.
So
That's
I
great.
have it here. I'm going to show it again, but for our listeners, it is a lavender paddle, half lavender, half white, and then on the other side we've got a striped pattern on it. Just looking at it though, I think this is so pretty, and I've had a lot of my friends ask me about it. And try to take it from me, but they're gonna have to wait and get their own because this is mine. But I do like the white, just like right off the bat. I
Yes.
think the white looks really like, I don't know, it's kind of sexy. It's like clean and crisp, and it's got everything that you are looking for in a paddle visually. So I think you should thank your mom for helping you pick out those colors
Of
because she
course.
did a fantastic
I'll
job.
I have to thank her for many other things as well. I'll thank her for the paddle design.
That's awesome. But I had a chance to drill with it, and I think that it's got a very large sweet spot. And like Uncle said, it does take a little bit of adjusting, especially if you're coming from playing a different paddle, but that's normal with switching up paddles. But
Yeah,
once you get the hang of it, the touch is great, the surface to get the spin that you need is great, and I just had a really fun time playing with it.
that's awesome. Yeah, Uncle, like you said, I've had a lot of people be like, I play with one kid specifically. He was a college tennis player, and he's, in my opinion, the best pickleball player that I've played with and against. And he always asked me, he goes, "Dude, how do you hit serves like that?" And I was like, I don't. It's got to be the paddle. It can't be me. But yeah, the sweet spot was a very big focus. Like I said, it is. I'm trying to launch a pro series as well in the near future. But this was definitely designed for the beginner. Me myself being a beginner, so I'm super happy that y'all love the feel of it. It's a lot of people on Amazon. We'll talk about that. I'm sure a lot of it is window shopping and they're looking for paddles and they're scrolling and scrolling. And I think it's very eye catching. Again, the colors are just, I think they're beautiful. And I'm really excited for people to start using them.
Yeah. Well, Russ, I want to bring you in because Russ got a chance to play your paddles as well, and Russ has a little less experience. You mentioned that you're kind of gearing it more towards the beginner market. Before we ask Russ about his feedback on it, I think players from all levels can play your paddle. I don't think it's just strictly a beginner paddle.
Love that.
So just my own little tidbit there. But Russ, you played it now.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, so I was playing with something else. Well, let's throw that one under the bus, but I wasn't getting the power. Like, it just wasn't, like this thing, the first time I tried it, it like went way out. Oh, wow. Okay. I've got to adjust. And so it was nice. And actually what it's done for me is it's actually controlling my serve a little bit better. Like I feel like I can position where I'm going to go with it a little bit better than I could with the other paddle that I was playing. So
Awesome.
yeah, I like it. And I've got the red one. I like the color too. It does really stand out. Yeah.
And Russ is playing singles, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
he's able to keep up in singles with this paddle.
Yeah, with my son, who can
Who can
beat
run
me in
all over the
everything.
place. I mean, he's a jackrabbit.
But yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it. And actually, I think we had talked on one of these episodes about like confidence on the court, right? Like just going out with a little bit of confidence. Like how do I do that? And there's something about the paddle too. There's just the look of it and the case, and it just looks really cool. So I would say it has that aspect to it as well, of just like,
I
okay,
love that.
I'm
Thank you,
gonna
man.
look cool.
Thank you.
I'm gonna at least look
Yeah.
like I know what I'm doing here.
I always say it's not company policy, but you can always match your outfit with your paddle.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I
Okay.
also want to share something that Russ told Uncle and I after playing with it, because we are like, what did you think? We are excited to hear his feedback. And he told us, before I didn't think I would be able to tell the difference between paddles.
Yeah.
He said, I thought one paddle would be the same as the other, but after playing with this one, he can definitely feel the difference.
Yeah.
It's so soft, right? The responsive level I was blown away. I spent more money, on sourcing. I've been in e-commerce it's my small background, I'll say. So I understand, putting more money into a good, you get what you pay for. I really wanted to spend, the right amount of money and really, get the feedback that y'all are giving me right now. So it's fantastic.
Nice.
The other thing I liked about it was the grip size. Is it
Yeah.
is it it's 4.5-inch grip?
It's 5. It should be 5.
It's a 5-inch grip?
4 3/4 ish.
Okay. It fit my hand really well. It fit,
Yeah.
I didn't have to put an overwrap on it or anything. It fit my hand really well. It's good tackiness. It just felt really comfortable. Then to Russ's point, where you just feel confident when you kind of get on the court. It's just, when the grip is right, I feel more confident with all the different strokes. So yeah, I did like the grip a lot as well. And the white definitely makes it pop.
Oh, it's so clean. Such a clean look.
Yeah, it really is. And then I thought it was a really smart, because you do go for the clean look, to have the white paddle covers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even when it's just, you're walking out and you got the white grip and the paddle covers on with the white and just the black, Volo logo, it's sharp.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
I
when
love
it
it.
comes in that box, a clean white box with just a black label, and you get to open it up and your pretty paddle sitting in there. Yeah. It's the whole thing, the whole aesthetic.
I had a bunch shipped to the Amazon warehouse, and I had, I think, around 45 or 50 shipped to me, just so I could send them out to, people like you. And just so many people have hit me up on Instagram like, hey, I love the look. Would you send me a sample? I'll, do some promotion. And I just sent 4 up to Penn State University, the president of their pickleball club. He said, hey, you have blue and white paddles. That's perfect for Penn State.
Oh, that's right.
I said, I'll ship them tomorrow. So they're on their way up there. But yeah, the white, I was so excited with everything, how it came out. Really happy about it.
So what's coming up? You mentioned that you are potentially coming up with a pro paddle. How close are you to doing that, or what's next?
So I'm looking into, y'all know about the thermoform paddles. That's kind of, the uptrend in the pickleball market right now. So I'm trying I'm trying to work my way excuse me, trying to work my way into a thermoformed, a Pro Series paddle with a 5.5-inch grip. I know a lot of these people like to hit 2-hand backhands. That's not really my style, but you got to do what the people want, So it'll be more of a it's an all black paddle with just the white logos popping everywhere. Same packaging, same, everything else, but it's in the works. It's a secret right now.
It's a secret until the millions that listen to our show hear it.
And then they'll be waiting for it.
Right. You got to build the suspense.
So for everybody who's listening or watching and they may be interested in purchasing one of these amazing paddles, where can they find it?
So right now we are a private label brand on Amazon. Amazon is the only biggest marketplace in the world. Just type Volo Sports pickleball and it'll pop right up. I think it's like the third result down. And they should go live. They're in the warehouse 2 days ago. They're scanning all the products in. So I'm hoping to go live this week.
I mean, that's wonderful that you're going through Amazon. If somebody wanted to contact you directly, is it possible for them to purchase directly, or they have to go through Amazon?
To buy the paddles, they have to go through Amazon right now.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, we wish you the best of luck with these paddles. We love it. We can't wait to see kind of the next generation that you come out with on the Pro Series. Before I let you go, I forgot to ask, did you want to, tell people how much they can expect to pay on Amazon for these paddles?
Yeah, right now I'm going to do a promo. The first 200 paddles will be $69.99. And then after that, we'll go to $74.99. Kind of just a good price point. I shopped around a bunch, and paddles are expensive, man. They're not, Selkirk and Jewel.
Yeah.
They're like, it was like $159.99, I think, when I went to Dick's to get a paddle. And I was like, I grew up poor, and like, when you really want something, you don't have the money. You're like, man, I wish, there was just an alternative. And like I said, I wanted to make a high quality paddle and make it affordable for people who are just starting. Nobody wants to spend $200 just, hey, I'm trying to learn how to play pickleball. Let me spend $200 on a paddle. People don't really want to do that. So $69.99, the first 200, and then $74.99. I think it's a great price,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't care if it's $74.99, $69.99. This paddle is worth it. So people who, if you're listening, get it on the Amazon, give this paddle a shot. I think you're going to have a great experience with it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Mike, and sharing your story as well as your paddles with us.
Of course. Hopefully I see you all on the pickleball court soon.
We'll have to go Charlotte. Well, we'll have to go out there.
I'm close. Let's do it.
Hey, Steph Curry, big Charlotte guy. His dad I think he grew up in Charlotte. I just saw a video that he is starting to play pickleball now. So
I saw that.
They love it. He's getting the itch for sure.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Well, with Kevin Durant, investing in a team, I have a feeling Steph might be investing in a team, maybe in Charlotte soon. So if we can get them all playing Volo paddles, then we're in good shape, right?
I love it. That's a win-win.
Thanks a lot for coming on, Mike.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us today on Third Shot. Brigie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. Special thanks to Mike, of course, for joining us today. Please check out all of his products on Amazon, and you can check him out on his Instagram page, Volo Sports Pickleball. Support this show by subscribing, and we promise to have more amazing guests just like Mike on future episodes of Third Shot Podcast. Let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.
Bye, guys.